Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. I'm recording this on March 24th, 2024, and I'm still in the 1930 to 31 Oscar year, which was the fourth ceremony. As I mentioned last time, all of the movies from this Best Picture category for this ceremony year were all from 1931. This one that I watched is called The Front Page. It's a 1931 American pre-code screwball black comedy film, as Wikipedia describes it. It's directed by Louis Milestone, stars Adolphe Menjou and Pat O'Brien. It's based on a 1928 Broadway play of the same name. And this was produced by Howard Hughes, which I thought was curious at the beginning. It's been adapted a few times. It was adapted in 1940 into His Girl Friday, when main character was recast as a woman played by Rosalind Russell. And 1974, they remade it with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, and another version in 1988 called Switching Channels with Burt Reynolds, Kathleen Turner, and Christopher Reeve, which I think I may have seen some of. As I said with East Lynne, the last one I reviewed, that one I knew immediately that I wasn't going to like it. And this one was the complete opposite. As soon as it started, I already loved it. First of all, it opened up with the opening credits were kind of cool. It's called The Front Page. It's about a bunch of newspaper men, and specifically one that's trying to quit the business and keeps getting pulled back in. And they started it out with like a newspaper, and the front page of the paper said the title of the movie, The Front Page, and had directed by Louis Milestone, produced by Howard Hughes. And then as they would flip through pages, it would show the actors' names and their pictures. And then assistant director, cinematographer, that type of stuff, all within the pages of the newspaper. So that was kind of a cool opening. The basic story of this is there's a reporter named Hildy Johnson, and it doesn't say where this takes place. It's just a large city. There's a lot of news, a lot of newspapers, and he works for the Morning Post. His editor is Walter Burns, and Hildy Johnson is going to marry his sweetheart, Peggy Grant, and move to New York City, where he's going to get a job in advertising. He wants to get out of the newspaper business. Walter Burns, his boss, does not want him to leave, so he's kind of doing anything he can to keep him. But like I said, this, as soon as this started, I immediately liked it. It was just a room full of reporters and a bunch of telephones, and they're, the old style with they had the little thing they put up to their ear and talked into the base of it like a microphone kind of, and just a lot of quick banter between them and the people on the phones. And there were some funny characters. One dude that just kept doing this weird laugh that made me chuckle every time, and it was just a lot of fun right from the start. The story is that there's a man that's accused of or convicted of killing a black policeman, and he's going to be hanged. And so, there's a lot of the newspaper stuff is revolving around that. And Walter Burns wants Hildy to report on that as like one last story. But he doesn't want to, and his wife doesn't, or his fiance doesn't want him to. They just want to leave. They decide they're going to go to New York City that night. You come to find out that the guy that's convicted, Earl Williams, is probably innocent, wrongfully convicted. He is being evaluated by an Austrian doctor, and he gets the sheriff to give him his gun, and he hands it to the convicted man and asks him to recreate what happened, and he shoots the doctor and escapes. And I was like, what do you expect? So, then everybody's kind of on the hunt for this and trying to find the guy. And Hildy Johnson pays somebody his last $260 that he was going to use to get to New York City and marry his fiance. And he uses that to bribe somebody to give him information. And so he finds the guy, him and his boss, and they hide him in a roll top desk in the room where the reporters usually are. Then they start getting sort of the sheriff and the governor start coming after, or the sheriff and the mayor start coming after him. The governor has decided to give Williams a reprieve. However, his execution would be good for both the sheriff and the mayor politically. So they decide to ignore the stay of execution, and they send the messenger away with a bribe and the address of a house of ill repute. Hildy Johnson's future mother-in-law shows up and sees them hiding the man. So to silence her, his boss there, Walter Burns, has some of his cronies roughly escort her out of the building and rough her up a little. She eventually returns, and they find Williams in the desk. The reporters all rush to call bulletins into their editors, each with widely varying and greatly exaggerated details about the fugitive Williams, was how he was rearrested. So then Hildy Johnson and Walter Burns are about to be arrested by the sheriff for aiding him when the Mrs. Grant, the messenger from the governor, reappears, which was, I believe, played by a guy. His name is Slim Somerville, and he was also in All Quiet on the Western Front. I mentioned in that review that he looks like straight out of a Western, like tall, skinny dude that you would see in every Western. And he really didn't fit in either of these movies. But basically he tells the reporters about the politician's refusal to accept the governor's pardon. And they drop their charges against the reporters in exchange for them not, telling on them. Hildy then still says he's going to retire. Burns seemed to accept. It was kind of funny at the end. I'm going to spoil here, so stop if you don't want to hear it. But Walter Burns gives him a going. He's like, "Oh, I didn't realize you were that much in love," and he gives him a going away present. He gives him a gold watch that someone gave him as a thank you gift for his services. And Johnson and his fiance leave, and as soon as they do, Burns calls the police and tells them to arrest Johnson at the first stop that the train makes because he stole his watch. So that's pretty much where it ends. So, it had a lot of funny moments throughout. That was a quick and rough sort of rundown of the story. Like I said, I liked this from the very start, and it kept my attention all the way through, which some of these movies don't, as you'll hear in the next review. Yeah, this one was really good. I would recommend this. Probably with a lot of these old ones, I would not necessarily rewatch it again. I have it on DVD at the moment, but I'm probably going to try to sell it. But it was fun. I liked it. I may be interested in checking out some of the other versions, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau in particular. So I do like this one. Oh, and some things from Wikipedia here, I forgot to mention. In 2010, was selected for the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. It is in the public domain. And this says that 2 versions of the film exist, each made up of different takes, one for the international market, and then director Lewis Milestone's preferred version for its U.S. Domestic release. Both versions are available on home video. So I did have to purchase this one on DVD from eBay. It cost me about $15. Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, this one. Oh, no. Forget everything I just said. This one was free. It was on HBO Max. It is also available on Prime Video. So at the time of this recording, which is March of 2024, it may not be when you hear this, but yeah, finally get to watch one for free. So anyway, yep, enjoyed this one a lot. And I actually watched another one today, the day I'm recording this. So I'm going to record that one next. So I'll see you next time.